Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at 10 photos that will make you uncomfortable. Have you ever seen things that just make you shudder? Well, here are some pictures of the most oddly uncomfortable things in the world. Some of these things will creep you out, while others will annoy any perfectionists out there. But before we get into it, why not subscribe and press the notification bell too. Coming in at number 10, we have Bubble Bite. So as kids, or maybe even now, who didn't love Hubba Bubba rolls? These things were actually called bubble tape, and they taste great. We all know how fun it was peeling off the bits of tape and having tons and tons of bubble gum. Now, of course, as it's a tape, you're supposed to peel it off and eat it in small strips. But I'm sure we've all had that crazy thought of just biting a big chunk off. But while we may have thought about doing that, no one's actually gone and done it, right? Well, that is where you'd be wrong. Somebody shared a photo once of someone who's really done this. As you can see, somebody took one massive chunk out of this Hubba Bubba tape. Now, I'm not saying this should be a crime, but it is just plain wrong. You know what, we may as well just make it a crime. Have you guys ever done this to a Hubba Bubba tape roll? And if so, I have one question. Why? Next up is Puzzle Piece. So let's be honest, nobody really likes doing puzzles. They can be fun if you're really young or really old, but most of us likely don't enjoy building huge puzzles. But one thing we do enjoy is the satisfaction of finishing a puzzle. There's no better feeling than putting the final piece on a puzzle and seeing what you've made. Well, that is why this photo will really annoy any perfectionists out there. You may be looking at this thinking it's just an amazing puzzle. As you can see, it's kind of a rainbow gradient. But if you look to the left, you'll see one crucial piece of the puzzle is missing. It's a yellow and orange part right in the middle of the puzzle. And this, of course, makes the puzzle look very ridiculous. It's sad how this one piece totally ruins the entire puzzle. Can you imagine how long this took to make and then you ruin it by losing a piece? I don't know about you, but this would make me go absolutely ballistic. Have you guys ever completed a puzzle only to find you had a piece missing? If so, was it as annoying as this looks? Next up is bad instructions. So here's another photo involving a game. We all know that sometimes instructions can be very bad. For example, if you've ever bought anything from IKEA, their instructions are very hard to follow. And also a lot of the time instructions are in Chinese, so you can't even read them. But nothing's worse than when a drawing on instructions doesn't make any sense. As you can see on this Lego toy instructions, it doesn't make any sense. The instructions are literally telling you to put a 3-piece on a 4-piece. Now, I assume the arrow should be here, but this image is bound to annoy any perfectionist. Those complicated Lego structures were already hard enough to build as kids, but when you have instructions like these, we really have no hope. Next up is decking. So there's nothing people like more in their gardens than a deck. It's an all-in-one dining room, relaxation area, and even somewhere to sit if you're a college student. But if there's any perfectionists watching, then look away now. That is because this deck here is absolutely ridiculous. As you can see, it hasn't been installed properly whatsoever. It starts off okay, but it starts veering to the right pretty soon after. As you can see, this makes a very trippy design, which really messes with my head. It kind of looks like somebody's pasted two photos together. But no, somebody actually built a deck like this. I just hope the guy got his money back for this. You're pretty much guaranteed to get vertigo every time you go outside now. You wouldn't think a piece of wood being a few centimeters off would make all that much difference, but as you can see, it definitely does. Next up is kiwi. So, kiwis are a nice fruit. They're very sweet and exotic. But there's only one problem with kiwis, and that is the skin. They're often very hard to peel, and if you do manage to peel it, it likely makes a large mess. Well, that is why somebody tried one very unorthodox way of peeling a kiwi. As you can see, they pulled out a pink razor and shaved a kiwi. All I can say is I hope that razor wasn't used before. I'm not sure what it is, but something about this image really does creep me out. Do you guys also get an uncomfortable feeling when looking at this picture? Is this person insane or an insane genius? Who knows, maybe in 10 years we'll all be shaving our kiwis. Next up is insect brush. So guys, here's a perfect example of why you should never move to Australia. We all know Australia has a lot of dangerous animals, from kangaroos to giant spiders. But another thing Australia is known for is their scary insects, which can be dangerous too. Well, one day somebody went to brush their teeth when they saw this. At first they thought this thing was their toothbrush, but they soon realized it was a very creepy bug. This looks like some kind of centipede. I'm just glad the brush was this way around, otherwise the guy may have not have seen it. Then the guy would have put this bug in his mouth, which is making me feel ill just saying. This is a reminder guys, always check your toothbrush before using it, because a bug may be on the back. And this is especially true for any Australians watching. But guys, what's worse, this or the bristleless toothbrush from a video I did a while back? If you guys remember that video, then leave a comment letting me know. Next up is feather wheel. So this is another very strange image involving animals. If you take a look at this car wheel, you may assume it's gone through snow. That's what I thought at first. But if you look closely, you'll see it's actually a bunch of feathers. Now, don't worry, this car didn't run over a rare bird. Instead, this is one of those bizarre car modifications. One quick internet search will show you millions of very strange car mods. But I have to say, this is probably the worst one I've ever seen. Perhaps this was Colonel Kentucky's car. If that's what their wheels looks like, I don't want to see the steering wheel. Have you guys ever seen a car mod as bizarre as this? If you have, then I would say send a picture, but I probably don't want to even see it. Next up is switch fail. So this is yet another thing which will annoy any perfectionists. And guys, this is pretty much an example of terrible architecture. One day somebody had some tiles put on their wall. They then got a light switch installed on it, but look at how the light switch was put on. As you can see, it's been placed in the worst way possible. This is enough to really drive someone over the edge. You could have easily put it in that perfect square, but instead it's been put in this very bizarre place. Now, I'm not sure if the switch was put on before or after the tiles, but either way, whoever did this architecture should have worked around what came first. I'm not sure who's to blame here, but somebody is. If your builders or electrician did this, would you guys get a refund? This annoys me so much, I'd probably have to tear down the entire house. Next up is lunchtime. So this one isn't something which will annoy any perfectionists. Instead, this will simply annoy anyone with regular taste buds. As you can see, one day somebody shared a photo of their daily lunch. And no, this isn't a joke, this is just a bizarre food item somebody likes to eat. As you can see, somebody really made a PB&P sandwich. That of course stands for peanut butter and pickle sandwich. Those very savory pickles are not going to work well with that very sweet peanut butter. But I guess this guy doesn't have any taste buds. Personally, I'd love to see Gordon Ramsay's reaction to this.
It's the lamb sauce!
But guys, the question is, how much would I have to pay you to eat this? I'd probably do it for $1,000. But guys, let me know your price. Would it be $1 or $1 million? Seeing as Gordon Ramsay has a net worth of over $400 million, I doubt you could pay him to eat this thing. Next up is worst elevator ever. So elevators are pretty good inventions. They cut down a lot of time and are made to make our lives easier, right? Well, this elevator here, nicknamed the worst elevator in the world by the internet, makes your life way more complicated. That is because it's simply the most confusing thing you'll see all day. You'd assume elevator buttons would go in order from 1, 2, 3 to 4. But instead, this elevator goes 2, 1, 5, B1, 4, B2 and 3. Yeah, I spent a while looking for a pattern, but I couldn't find one. I know there's braille on these buttons, but perhaps a blind guy put these on. The ordering really does make no sense. And the fact that there's a massive space next to the two doesn't make any sense either. I just wonder how many people press the wrong floor as it's in the wrong place. Chances are this elevator's wasted more time than it saved. Next up is tiles. So there's nothing better than a satisfying tile floor. Sometimes they can even look kind of beautiful. But one day at a high school, somebody saw something very non-perfectionist. As you can see from these tiles, somebody's made a major mistake. They did fine in the rest of the hallway, but when they got to this square tile, they actually messed up. As you can see, there's one black tile totally out of place. It veers right over to the left and is bound to annoy any perfectionist students. Be honest guys, how annoyed would you be every time you're walking to school seeing this? Waking up for school every day early in the morning is bad enough, but now you have to see this? Next up is balls. So one day somebody saw a container of balls all separated out by their color. I'm not sure if these are jawbreakers or what, but if you look at the top half it looks pretty satisfying, right? Well, I hate to break it to you, but if you look a bit lower you'll see your satisfaction will be broken. That is because one of the purple balls got mixed in with the white balls. This totally messes with the perfectionism of this image. And what's even worse is this is right at the bottom, so the guy can't even reach in and take it out. I'm not sure what's worse, the puzzle one or this. Leave a comment letting me know which one annoyed you the most. For me it's gotta be the puzzle. Next up is spider paper. So we've already seen one very nasty bug on a toothbrush, but that's not the only terrible insect image taken in a bathroom. I'm not sure if this one was taken in Australia, but I assume it was. That is because it's all based around spiders, but not one very big scary spider, instead lots of little ones. One day somebody got a roll of toilet paper when they realized spots all over it. They then looked closer and saw tons of baby spiders all over the paper. These spiders are not only on the toilet paper but inside too. Basically a spider laid its eggs in this toilet paper and that caused all of these baby spiders to hatch. I have to say this is incredibly nasty and makes me cringe. I don't particularly have anything against spiders, but this one is going way too far. I'm just glad the guy checked the roll before using it. If he hadn't done so, then just imagine the chaos that could have ensued. Be honest, have you ever seen anything worse than this? I'd rather watch every single Fred movie than look at this image for one more second.
I'm with you, Dad.
Okay, maybe not. But guys, vote in the poll in the top right corner and tell me which photo you found the most uncomfortable. For me, I think it's gotta be the spider toilet paper, as that really did send a chill down my spine. If you guys want more amazing videos, then check out my second channel. There'll be a link to that on screen in a moment. But as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.